have been made. That's a legal play, but it's a mistake by Texas to have put the wrong setter on the lineup card.
Started the first half of the year, then went out with injuries for 12 matches, and back now, setting up Fawcett. Asia McClendon, good diving dig from Lauren Dixon. Down the line, McNeil covers. Fawcett with the kill.
And you see that Texas changed it. Fawcett was in right back, played all through the back row before she got to the front row. They were already down 10-1. Now they start with her in the left front. That's better for their offense, but she's not hitting against a weak block now.
Cross court, McClendon with the kill. So that will set up Fawcett more often across the net with the 6'5" senior Blair Brown, which Penn State likes their chances.
Exactly. They want Brown on Fawcett. Blair Brown at 6'5", 11 inches taller than Carpenter as a blocker.
But I also like the aggressive move by Texas.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you got to get Fawcett the ball. She's their leader in every way, emotionally, energy-wise, and she was just sitting there with nothing to do most of that, or the first half of that first set. Now she's up at the net. She can make things happen.
McClendon serves for Penn State. Allison to Doris, a little tight at the net. Penn State covers it.
Not a great set there. They've tried both setters so far, but that was what we call a trap set. Very close to the net, right into the hands of Scott there. Easy block for Penn State.
Really, for Hannah Allison, just her second appearance of note in this NCAA tournament after coming back from the injury. And Kurtz, I gotta believe that takes a little getting used to for the hitters. Set. And now here comes Penn State in transition. Blair Brown.
Nice up by Palmer.
Sarah Palmer, the freshman, got it. And then into the net from Fawcett.
Well, you see what kind of defense Palmer can play, and others in the backcourt for Texas. So Fawcett has to keep that in and give her another chance to make another dig.
Boy, that look says it all right there for Texas right now. Trying to bounce back from the shaky start.
Good read by Carpenter. That's it. Just keep it in. Let your defense do their work.
Another tight set that Fawcett could not work with. Now Julianne gets a swing at it and gets the kill.
And that's a much better swing by Fawcett. High and deep. She ended the first set getting roofed by trying to hit straight down into a small blocker.
Texas has shown resiliency all year long, battling through adversity and injuries. They'll have to do it again tonight in the semis. Texas arguing that Blair Brown was over the net, but the 6'5" senior gets the kill.
Infinity Lions, Ariel Wilson.
And she is with the tip. Out of Purcellville, Virginia. And the ace for Penn State.
Tarico only 5'9", but she can bring it on the serve. She's had a little trouble consistency-wise this season and feeling the pressure to keep it in, but she's unloading now. Here's another one.
Gets Penn State the ball right back. Blair Brown popped up.
See Penn State get two blockers up on Adams. Wise choice. She's tough to stop, and they get up again. Good stop.
Adams denied twice in a row. Allison tried to play it over on two. And the stuff for Texas.
I don't like that choice by Allison. You want, rather than putting it over softly, you've got to give your hitters a chance. When she does that, she tells her hitters, I don't have that much trust in you, that much confidence in you. Trying to take it into her own hands.
The freshman from Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Back to serve. Carpenter looking for Brown. McNeil sliding behind, right at McClendon. Ariel Wilson popped it back over. Here's Fawcett. Got it down in the corner. Point Texas.
Boy, McNeil was so dynamic in the middle of that play. She makes the dig by one sideline, comes all the way over and attacks at the other. And then Fawcett finishes it later. You can never go wrong hitting the last 5 feet of the court, and that's what Fawcett did there.
5th kill for Julianne now, starting to show that emotion of a leader. Penn State looking for a touch. They don't get it. Point Longhorns, and Texas is within 1.
Number 5, tie your shoe.
Blair hitting just 125 now. And remember, your hitting percentage, a good one is like a batting average. You want to be around that 300 mark or better.
Yeah, we have some of the nation's most effective hitters, including for Texas, the number 1 and number 2 most effective hitters in the nation. Their quick hitter, Wilson on that one of the top also. Middles should have a higher percentage than the outsides.
Ariel Scott pounds it down. Point Penn State.
Scott coming out with great confidence. 7th kill, seeing the space between that pole, that stripe pole that we call the antenna. That's a vertical extension of the sideline. The ball cannot hit that or go around it, and she saw space between it and the blocker.
Fawcett crushes that one. Point Longhorns.
Texas. In Longhorns is Edward Robertson serving Julianne Fawcett.
The elevation from Fawcett, the 6'2" senior out of San Diego, 4-year starter. He was on the court for the loss in the final last year and the semis 2 years ago. Ripped down the line by McNeil. Point Texas.
Of course, Texas trying to go back to their original setter now, Coker in the game, notching a kill there and a point, running her offense. Texas not afraid to make essentially a point guard or a quarterback change.
Service error from Texas.
In for Penn State and serving Kathy Quilico.
Kathy Quilico, one of their 5 seniors. She's a transfer from Boston College. McNeil popped up by Brown. McClendon, from way off the net, still able to put it away.
That is not an easy ball to put away, but she works hard to get her feet there, stays almost behind it, and goes again around the outside hitter.
Ari Wilson gets the kill. You get the sense, Karch, that it took this Penn State team a little while this year to get used to Carpenter serving, and sometimes they have to make something out of a set that's not perfect.
The hitters, especially Brown and Wilson, have spent a lot of time compensating for hits that didn't go or sets that didn't go where they expected them to. The good news is Carpenter saves a lot of bad passes, but as the season's gone on, she's gotten better, and she set up Wilson very nicely to play before last.
10-8 Penn State. Palmer, the 2-time Hawaiian Player of the Year in prep school, takes one off the face.
What a nice set and attack, but Palmer still coming up with it. Too bad for Texas. Making Wilson reach, boom, right in the face. After this, when somebody makes a dig like that, you've got to keep the ball in play. Instead, shank, confusion for Texas, and they don't even keep it alive. That's the kind of play that can turn around the momentum of the game if you just keep it alive. Just a good play, not a great play is what you need.
Doris blocked a couple of freshmen, including the 6'6" Katie Slade. Timeout, Texas, and a 12-8 Penn State lead in the second. The rookies, terrific so far tonight for Penn State. Side by side, McClendon and Slade send it back. Back here at the national semifinals, PSU, the champs for the last 3 years running, looking for a 4th in a row. And the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship continues with our second semifinal. Coming up later tonight, USC beat Cal twice in the regular season, and now they meet again, with the winner moving on to the finals on Saturday. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, continuing with that championship match Saturday night at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2.
Hard to beat a very good team 3 times, as we found out last Saturday when Stanford had beaten USC twice in the regular season, but USC barely beats them. Penn State coming up with the ace here.
Maddie Martin, we were at the regional last weekend. She came in twice to serve and she erred twice. And now this time in the semis, she gets the ace.
She is just hitting it as hard as she can. That one went out by about 20 feet. If it goes in, it's almost unpassable. The problem is it's very high air.
Well, one of the keys to their success really the last few years in runs to the championship, Russ Rose has let his guys let her rip from behind the service line. High risk, high reward.
He is always demanding that they serve harder. And in fact, the coach who played all 4 of these teams this season, Coach Dunning, John Dunning from Stanford, said Penn State is a surprisingly effective serving team and passing team. People don't give them as much credit as they should.
Another kill for Julianne Fawcett. Give her 7 now on the night. Started out her career as the National Freshman of the Year. She's been an All-American ever since. Good defensive play right there from Fawcett.
Yeah.
Ends up in a free ball for Penn State. Carpenter, another strong decision.
And you can see Fawcett yelling at her blockers, saying, look, we got to block that ball. Hands got to go up. There are no hands in front of that play. Big mistake on the left side by a young blocker, of course, number 18, Amber Robertson.
Carpenter. McClendon hammers it. Point Penn State.
Wow, does she get up off the ground?
Check out the freshmen in their first national semifinal. The threesome, 16 kills and 7 blocks tonight. And another block. McClendon alongside Slay.
Last weekend, McClendon was working on trying to turn that outside hand in, being a better left side blocker. We've seen her very good. And again, a setting change. Both setters have been, this is the 3rd time in the game for Coker now. 2nd for Allison.
And did you see Jared Elliott over there just shaking his head, thinking, you got to be kidding me. They graduate Alicia Glass and Megan Hodge to the U.S. national team, and these newcomers are hurting us. Point Penn State.
The hittable ball from Carpenter. Blair Brown making the first touch with the dig, and then the 3rd touch with the kill, showing that she's very quick off one foot.
Penn State busting loose in the opening game. They are in front again, trying to block Texas's path to the title, leaving Jerry Elliott shaking his head. Penn State taking the first set, and they are up in the second, best 3 of 5 for a spot in the finals on Saturday night. Also, don't miss coming up this weekend, Sunday afternoon, UConn, the women's basketball team, trying to match John Wooden's 88-game winning streak. They are undefeated, ranked number 1 in the country. They'll take on 10th-ranked Ohio State from the Maggie Dixon Classic. It's part of Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers on ESPNU. That's Sunday at 2 Eastern. And the Penn State women's volleyball team, the best winning streak for a women's program in Division I history.
And I don't know how many colleges were even playing men's tennis back in the late 50s. So that 137 is a little shaky, but Division I women's volleyball is so competitive. Over 330 programs to dominate like Penn State did for those 3 years, and back after losing 4 All-Americans is an amazing feat.
A 9-match winning streak that ended earlier this year, but they are still undefeated in the postseason in their last 22 matches, including 3 consecutive national championships, and Brown continues to thunder away.
We saw in the middle of that rally Carpenter with the low set to her middle, Katie Slay, so she goes back and gives a hittable ball to her dependable senior opposite, Blair Brown.
I go back to your analogy from earlier. For Kristen Carpenter, it's like taking a safety and making her a quarterback in fall practice, and she is setting them in this first.
When your number one quarterback isn't working out. Hey, by the way, can you switch jerseys, put on the red, and let's see what's going on here. But he loves the way she competes. She's willing to play any position for them, and she's going to save the tough plays.
It's a 6-0 run right now for Penn State, ended by Michelle Coker, as again Texas has made a change at their setter position.
The one thing Texas has is that they've bounced back from a lot of adversity this season, injuries and coming back from some tough losses. Now they would have the opportunity to fall down 2-0 and come back. I would not rule it out as a possibility at all.
Last year, they were up 2-0. Penn State came back. Could be different this year.
And keep in mind, Penn State's freshmen are all clicking, including this kill by Deja McClendon. But they're going to go into the locker room and have about 10 minutes to think about it. It's like, if you were Penn State, you would not want that break. You just want to keep going.
Did you ever urge your coach, Al Skates, or on the national team to keep you guys on the floor because you were just humming along so well?
Hey, we were at the big time. We didn't have media time. So we just kept playing.
There was no intermission. Beth Mullins, along with three-time national champion Karch Karai. 3 gold medals as well.
Penn State likes this lineup, and that forces Fawcett into 2 tips in one play. Likes that matchup. 2 big blockers against Fawcett.
That was the other matchup with the change in the starting lineup for this set. How would Fawcett fare against the bigs? She's been doing okay. She's got 7 kills in the match, but it's been too much Penn State so far. Carpenter to Ariel Scott. Good get by Fawcett. McNeil out of the back. Scott's tip. That's the 3rd net violation on Rachel Adams tonight.
And she was all over that. Just gave it a slam dunk. But touch the net. You cannot touch the net as you are an attacker or a blocker if it's in the process of making a play for the ball.
Set is to 25, have to win by 2.
Good choice by Scott. I like the patience there. Instead of hitting that when she wasn't in good position, she passed it, they run their offense, and she gets the kill.
And then Carpenter rewards her by sending it right back to her to slam it. Three blockers.
Wow. What a read by the Penn State blockers. And that's what some coaches have been saying. That's the only way to stop Adams is to get 3 blockers up. Penn State, a smart read. They knew Fawcett, the outside hitter, was down on the ground. That was the only place Adams could go. Very well coached.
Scott off the antenna.
Now this is something you would have expected more from some of the freshmen, those kinds of errors, but that's one of the first ones. First error for Scott, second error for Scott, but kept it very low so far. If they continue to do that, Texas is in for trouble.
Just 2 errors so far in the match for the freshmen, who have been a huge story tonight for Penn State, and they have a bunch of set points to go up 2-0. The ace ends it for Penn State in the second. Texas will try and regroup in the locker room. It has been all Nittany Lions. Can the 3-time defending champs maintain coming out of the locker room with the big lead?